Hello, welcome, Vintage Movie Nights. I'm Joe. That's Ryan. He might be over there. I don't know which side he's going to be on, but that's Ryan. And tonight we're going to be doing something new. See, we are trying to find our identity a little bit. We love movies. We love talking about movies. And we love watching movies, but it's hard to edit. And so sometimes we're trying to come up with some new ways so we can do more content and be a little bit more active. So with that, we are doing a fantasy rank or a draft, fantasy draft is what I would call it. We have a wheel. We're going to spin it and there's going to be a category. And in that category, Ryan and I are going to go back and forth and we are going to pick our 5 best movies in that category. And then you guys, the audience, get to vote below in the comments and tell us who won the round. And maybe over time, after we've accumulated some of these, one of us, probably me, will be the winner. And then the other one will suck and have to say that, Joe, you are better at movies than I am.
I like it.
Probably not going to happen, but any case. So with that, we have a wheel. We're going to spin. So we've got our wheel, and on our wheel, we have a series of categories. And so we did some basic ones to start since this is our first time doing this. We are going to start. We have a baseball category. We have a hockey category. We have my favorite, the spoofs category. We've got Christmas, 90s action, sports comedies, musicals, and Pixar movies. So a pretty decent mix, I would think, Ryan, of movies here.
Yep.
We're going to spin the wheel. And then I'm going to actually let Ryan go first, just because I'm feeling like a nice guy. I will let Ryan have the first overall pick.
First draft pick. All right.
You get the first pick, because that means you're the bigger loser, because usually the loser gets the first pick. I'm just kidding. So with that, let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see what we're going to be working with here. Oh, Pixar. I was getting a little nervous with musicals. I was thinking, can I think of 5 musicals or five musicals without I mean, I would have to delve into Disney's that, like the OC Disney's that had like songs in them, I think. But we don't have to worry about today. We have to worry about Pixar.
Well, we both have children. Your daughter is younger than my kids, but I'm sure we're both very familiar with Pixar. So this is fine. So I get the first pick.
You get the first pick, but before you start, let's just a couple rules for everybody so they all know. Once a pick is made, that pick is off the board. So if Ryan picks a movie, I cannot pick that movie. Now you can pick a sequel to the movie, you could pick other versions of the movie, but you can't pick that movie.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know. So sequels apply.
Sequels are good. Yes.
Okay.
Of course, there's always the veto or the challenge that you can throw the challenge flag if you really believe that this isn't a Pixar movie. And if you win the challenge, the other person loses their draft pick. So they don't get another chance. And at the end of the day, audience, it's going to be up to you to decide who is the winner. And we'll each have our little closing arguments at the end as to why we think our team is better. So with that, I think that sets up the rules and everything we need in our brand new game, Movie Drafts. The Movie Draft.
If we're going by quality of movie and by moving story, entertainment value, I've got to go with Up as my
he's pick. Going straight to Up. Okay, that's straight a good pick.
Because why wouldn't you just go Up?
I mean, that's a good pick. It is a good pick.
I think it's a great pick. Top of the line. Best Picture nominee. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened often for an animated film.
It does not. I think for me, I have to go with my favorite of the series. I'm going to have to go Toy Story 3.
That would have been my number 2. So there you go.
I think Toy Story 3 is probably the best of the 4 Toy Stories.
Far and away.
We talked about this in another video. Yep. I don't know when this comes out or if you've heard, but essentially that scene when they're in the garbage and it's coming down, the transitioning from Andy, that is just, it's beautiful. To me, Toy Story 3
great.
is pinnacle. It's
great.
It's hard to beat that one.
That would have been a close number 2 for me, so I'm right with you on that.
I like it. So then we're pretty close so far.
I think that those are the best 2 Pixar movies. So
Okay.
For me.
Okay.
After that, it gets a little more tricky because Toy Story 3 is easily the best of the Toy Story movies. I mean, far and away. And you have the perfect conclusion of the Toy Story saga. Toy Story 4, as good as it is meaningless with the way they ended Toy Story 3, in my opinion. So anyway, but that's irrelevant because you took it. Okay. Number 2 for me. If you would have picked something else, and I would have picked Toy Story 3 as my number 2, I feel like there could have been room for Toy Story here. But the fact that you acknowledge Toy Story 3's greatness, like, I would only be adding Toy Story here for nostalgic purposes and not for quality. So I'm not going to do that.
It's funny you say that because I was in the same spot. I'm like, okay, do I go Toy Story 1 because it's what started this, or do I go with the one that is?
No, you made the right
one?
choice. It's the better movie. It really is. I'm going to go Finding Nemo.
Oh, Finding Nemo was on my list. I've been writing down some ones here that I'm like, these are good movies. Finding Nemo. It was a special movie.
It was a special movie, and I'll tell you why. Pick a landscape for your story and have it be the fucking ocean.
Right.
Right. He crosses the ocean to go on his journey. And if you were to do that in a human element, it would just be the open sea. But to put it in the perspective of a fish and have him go across the ocean to explore all the different things that if you were underneath the water going across the ocean, the sharks, the turtles, the stingrays, all the different things. It was a special movie to have him go from wherever it starts to Australia. And much like Up, which has a heartbreaking opening with the whole montage of the guy's wife dying, Finding Nemo opens with the fish's wife dying. And you really feel for him. And a great performance by Albert Brooks as the voice of the main fish. I forget his name. And Ellen DeGeneres as the
Dory.
The forgetful Dory. Finding Nemo was very special. And that's my number 2.
I think that's a good pick. I do. It's a tough one to follow. Finding Nemo was on my list. I've got a list here of a few movies that I would like to put on here. There's one that I'm going back and forth on, but for me, the number 2, and I don't think this is going to surprise. I don't think this is too shocking, but for me, I think number 2 for me is WALL-E. So I am taking WALL-E as my number 2 pick. So
that would have been on my top 5. Yeah.
Yeah, WALL-E is one of those movies where you care about something that has no dialogue, right? Just simple, Eva, and
right, Eva, yes.
The first 20 minutes of the movie, you don't meet humans. It's just this robot who's exploring the planet. He's uncovering things, and you don't really ever understand how long he's been there, but he was long enough to become somewhat autonomous, right? He's fixing himself, and he's just building these great landscapes and these huge skyscrapers of trash. And then he meets a little robot, and the love story between 2 robots is, you wouldn't think, again, Pixar has this great way of making you care about things. That is one of those things where you're just like, it's just, WALL-E is an amazing. WALL-E is a great movie, in my opinion, right now, Toy Story 3 and WALL-E and Up and Finding Nemo, there is no clear winner. You're 50-50 right now. I think we're gonna come down into these next 3 picks are the ones that are gonna make the difference.
I'm gonna give you one more that'll fit in there, but WALL-E would have been maybe my number 3. That's a great pick. Yeah. So fuck you. For picking it. That's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
I think I have a clear number 3 pick then, which I think you might agree is going to fit into these, like, God, you could pick either one of these, because we're really I think we can agree we're going by process of elimination here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Inside Out.
Oh, so you're taking the original Inside Out.
The part one. I never seen part two, so part one.
You've not seen part two?
I have not seen the second one. So if you pick that, it'll have no bearing on me, but I'm picking the first Inside Out.
Wow. Okay. First, second off, when we're done here, you need to tomorrow well, it's late. It's past midnight my time. So, but you need to go inside and go watch it with your wife tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like that's like it's a good movie. Okay. So you took Inside Out 1.
Mm-hmm.
I was contemplating on this a lot, whether I would take 1 or 2. But I think I'm going to have to shift a little, knowing that you took 1, because I was hoping you weren't going to take either of them, and then I would have a shot at taking one of them.
Just from a creative standpoint of the mindset of, in the first one's case, a little girl, the second one, I'm assuming a teenage girl, both,
yes,
have their thing, but it's such a creative movie with the mindset and the thought and joy and the sadness and all the things. But that's the bing bong, right?
Bing bong. Bing bong, bing bong.
Come on.
Who's the friend who likes to play bing bong, bing bong?
No, it's a fascinating movie, and so I liked Inside Out as my number 3 pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Cars. And so I did not like Cars 2. That nobody would pick Cars 2. That was a terrible movie. I thought about Cars 3, and maybe you'll pick it on your list. But for me, Cars, because it was the first one, it's special. You introduced the characters. I think they did a really good job of taking him, from this hot shot, and then him, Doc Holliday, mentoring him, and then that moment when he shows up at the racetrack where he's just out of sorts and he doesn't want to be there. Mm-hmm. It's a good movie, and I go back. I think I would prefer Cars 1 versus Cars 3, so that's partly why I'm taking Cars 1 at this point. It's a great movie of time lost, a city that's lost, and then people coming together and helping each other, and this hot shot race car who ends up becoming part of the community and whatnot. I think it's a great movie. I like Cars and am making that my number 3 pick. Good chow.
All right. Good chow. All right.
But it's okay because I have my next 2 lined up if you don't mess it up.
I don't have my next 2 lined up.
And I even have some backups because I love Pixar's. I mean, I have a young kid. Pixar is one of the ones I will,
My kids are a little older than yours, so it's been a minute since I've watched a lot of these Pixar movies. But I think I got it. I want to go The Incredibles.
Yeah. Take that one right off my list.
I'm going to go The Incredibles because I feel like it was the first Pixar movie that focused on humans as the main characters. I know we got that later in films like Up and Inside Out and some of these other movies that we're talking about, but like it started with Toy Story, which had humans in it, but they weren't the main thing. And then we got into The Bug's Life and Monsters, Inc. and Finding Nemo, which humans kind of played supporting parts in those movies. And then we got into The Incredibles, where the humans were the focus of the thing. And it was kind of this mainstream superhero movie, right? Like in an age where superhero movies were becoming more popular at the early 2000s. And we got this fun-filled thing with The Incredibles. And there was a sequel, which was also really good. But
I didn't like the sequel as much, to be honest. I didn't think Incredibles 2 was that great. I thought 1 was really good, but 2 was just okay.
1 was definitely better. I thought Incredibles 2 was fine. I mean, it was entertaining. But that first one there was just something about it. And then like Samuel L. Jackson in that supporting part as
Yes.
Mr. Freeze or whatever his name
Woman,
was. Woman, give me my super suit, you know.
where's my
And
super suit?
at the
This
height,
again.
and just like Samuel L. Jackson being Mr. Powerful at the height of his popularity, right? Doing that supporting part. Woman, give me my suit. And he just gets shot down. Don't talk to me like that, you man. And he just puts his head in shame, like shooting down. Like Samuel L. Jackson as a human is so powerful, but as a cartoon, the voice of the wife just is like, shut the fuck up. Like, go back. And he has no choice but to like go back
Oh
to his thing.
man.
It was everything about it is great. So I'm drafting The Incredibles as my number 4 pick.
Good pick. Good pick. For me,
All
this leaves me one that I'm glad I'm able to put on my list. I think this was a very good movie. It is in the newer era. I kind of lied when I said there wasn't a good one, because there is a good one. There's a couple. But this particular movie I thought was really good, and that is the movie Coco. Coco, for me, I really liked it. My daughter loves it. She sings like the put it on my head, you know, when he sings the song as the skeleton, or when he's down in the other world. But such a strong movie about family, and you know, being there for your family, and just having this idea that music is bad, and then him wanting to play it, and just such a great. And then, you know, thinking that Ernesto De La Cruz is going to be his dad, and it's just the lowly guy who ends up being the one who wrote the songs and made Ernesto what he was, and Hector, you know, being the guy. And just I love that movie. I think it's Coco. To get it in the 4th round, I mean, Coco is a good movie. It's better than Incredible. It's better than Incredibles, I'll tell you that.
I don't think so, but yeah, okay.
Well, I guess it's not up to you and me. It's up to those who are watching, and you can tell Ryan why I'm right in the comments below. I can think of one person particularly right now who's probably writing a paragraph or more about why The Incredibles is the best movie that Pixar's has ever done. You know who you are. You're a buddy of mine. That's all I'll say about that. He's writing it right now.
Oh boy.
He hasn't even seen this, and I can already feel him writing the paragraph of what he will say, because he loves The Incredibles. But that's what I'm going to pick. I'm taking it in my 4th round. I'm going to take Coco.
In the 4th round.
You know, Hector and Coco and the mom and all of it. It's just it's a great movie.
Is that the one where we don't talk about Bruno? That's the movie, right?
No, we don't talk about is Encanto, which is Disney, which I would have taken. Encanto 100% would have been on my list if it was a Pixar movie, but it's a Disney movie. I'm not gonna lie. I looked it up because I was like, oh, Encanto, that's definitely gonna be in my list. We don't talk about Bruno, but no, it's Disney.
But okay, all right.
No, Coco, similar. So both same nationalities essentially.
Right.
Coco's more Mexican nationality on the Ofrenda and the Day of the Dead, where he crosses over to the non-living side and meets all his ancestors. Whereas Encanto is where the house is built by power and a candle and
Fifth round.
Your final round. This is where the men are made. This is where you bring home trophies. It's in the 5th round.
All right.
As we say about Pixar movies, where men are made.
Remind me of your 1 through 4 here.
So far I've got Toy Story 3. I got WALL-E. I got Cars 1, and I got Coco. You have Up, Finding Nemo, Inside Out, and Incredibles. So with his 5th and final pick, Ryan is on the clock to determine what is going to bring home his Pixar team.
Okay. I know what it's going to be, and I'm going back and forth here. And
I have a prediction.
You're probably correct.
But before you say it, I'll give you my prediction. But let me know when you're ready to lock it in, and I'll tell you what I think it is and why.
And it's locked in. So go ahead.
Okay. So I think you're going to pick Cars 3.
Okay.
And I think you're going to pick Cars 3 because in your mind it's better than Cars 1.
Right.
And it has such an emotional moment for you.
It
That
does.
I think that's why. And when you look at the other movies that are left, I don't think that there's another one outside of one other one that I'm going to pick
Yeah.
that would do it. Because I'll tell you, if you picked what I was going to pick, I would pick the other one.
Had you not picked Cars, I would not go with this, but it is Cars 3.
Yeah.
Only because I want to put it on my list because you picked Cars 1, and I think it's much better than Cars 1. I don't think Cars 1 is a bad movie. I think it's a good movie. But, like, Cars 1 came along at a time where Pixar was at its peak, right? Like, it wasn't like these later movies where it's kind of hit and miss. Like, Cars 1 came at a time where we were getting Finding Nemo and The Incredibles and Wall-E and Ratatouille, which none of us picked.
It's on my list. I haven't picked it yet, but I'm not picking it. It was on my backup list. So
it was on my backup list as well.
Because Ratatouille is a good movie.
Yeah, it was coming along at a time, the first Cars, and I thought it was a good movie. But it just didn't really get me to care about much. And then we don't even need to talk about Cars 2 because that was just, it was
terrible.
not good at all. Terrible
Cars
movie.
2 is terrible. That's why you like Cars 3 so much, because Cars 2 was so bad. There
That
was no
might be
bar
it.
to clear.
But even in Cars 1, it didn't get me to that moment where I cared about anything, save for maybe the part where the girl car takes him on the ride through the roads and explains the map of the highway that, it used to be a road and then it became a highway. Like, that's kind of a touching scene.
But without Cars 1, you don't have Cars 3.
That is true. So I'm saying I like Cars 1. I'm glad you picked it. I wasn't going to pick it. But you get to Cars 3, and I've talked about this with you. Like, it's a fun movie, just like the first Cars movie is. Like, I think they're both good on a fun level. But I like that it deals with aging, which is something that you and I can relate to. Like, we're getting older.
It's old people.
We can't do the same things that we used to do. And he gets into that final race, and then this young girl car that has been kind of, riding around with him. He says, I'm going to put you in the race. And man, there is that moment where she doesn't know what to do. And he's got the older crew chief talking to her, who was Doc Hudson's friend, who he's tracked down. And he says, tell her this, tell her that. And he says, I'm not going to tell her that. Like, that's childish talk. And then it cuts to her, and he's on the headphone. And for me, that's when the whole series comes full circle. The young Lightning McQueen in the first movie, where he says, I don't need a crew chief. I'm a one-man show. And here he is in Cars 3. He now is the crew chief and is telling her, like, look this way, look that way. Your left is clear, your right is clear. Like, I love that moment. Like, that got to me in the way that these other movies like Toy Story 3 and Up and Wall-E got, I loved that moment. And it was the only moment in any Cars movie that got to me like that. Like, I love that they brought it full circle and that Lightning McQueen accepted that he's getting older and that you do need a crew chief. You need a team to support you. And for that reason, yeah, I'm drafting it at number 5.
Okay. That's a fair thing. And I guess my counter argument is going to be, if you didn't have Cars 1 and 2, let's say you picked up the story in Cars 3 and you just learned about Lightning McQueen and that he was this hot rod racer who'd won everything and became, he was trying to continue to push. Would the story still be good? Or did you need to see him in Cars 1 where, you know, he's pushing Dynaco Blue across the
Right.
finish line, giving up the Piston Cup, which was his, like, you know, one dream, because
Right.
Doc said, you know, it's just an empty cup, right?
I hear what you're saying.
I actually think 3 could work, honestly, without 1. I actually
might,
think it could,
might.
but, you know.
But I think you need those moments of him being cocky in number 1. And my counter argument to that, and maybe you can, I don't know, because you have the last pick here. Can you make the same argument? Why did you put Toy Story 3 on your list? Is number 5 Toy Story 1?
You could very well probably make that argument that without Toy Story 1 and 2, Toy Story 3 wouldn't have any impact. So it can go both ways. So
the only argument to that is that Toy Story 1 didn't have a crappy part 2. Toy Story 2 could easily be on one of these lists as well.
Could, yes.
Like, they're all good. So I don't know. I threw that out there. It's not exactly a valid argument because it is weird that, like, I think you agree that Cars 3 is a good movie. It may not have made your top 5, but you agree it is a good movie. But it had this weird part 2 that, like, was just atrocious. Whereas the Toy Story movies didn't have that. So
yeah, and honestly, if I hadn't chosen Cars 1, I would have taken Cars 3. Like, that's I would have had one of the 2. You can't. I don't think you can have a top 5 Cars without, or top 5 Disney without, or Pixar without one of them. So I'm going through. I've got there's 3-4 movies on this list that I feel like are left. Yes, there's other movies, but the ones that I think are left for me
now, you said that you weren't going Ratatouille on this.
Well, it's on the list. So here's the ones that I'm deciding between right now as I make my final decision.
You might as well. It's your last pick. Go ahead.
Yeah. Inside Out 2. Okay. But I'm trying to think, do I like Inside Out 2 more than these other movies? Brave, which I think is very underappreciated. I think Brave is a very, very good movie. I don't know. There's something about Brave that always makes me just, I love the movie for some reason. Of course, Ratatouille. And then you can't have this discussion without at least mentioning Bug's Life, which is the original, like, came out right around the time that it came out, I think, right after Toy Story.
It was the second one, I think,
Yeah, it's a Bug's Life came out in 1998. I feel like that's a pretty great movie that's never got the sequel it deserved. In fact, I think they make fun of it. So those are where I sit. There's actually one more, and this one is the one I actually wrote into its spot, which is the one I'm probably going to take.
Okay.
The other one, of course, is Monsters, Inc.
I was thinking that there has not been, and there's 2 of them, right?
There is 2 of them. I'm going to lock in, as much as I loved Inside Out 2. I think Inside Out 2 could very well be on this list. I think for my best chance to win, to catch the bigger audience and the more votes, and knowing what I'm trying to accomplish here with my team, I have to go with Monsters, Inc. So my final pick in the 5th round of the Pixar category is going to be Monsters, Inc.
I didn't even realize that. So we're trying to rank these because we want to get the commenters to
vote
a side.
To say that my 5 is better than your 5.
Shit. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
right. So my 5 is better than your 5, and your 5 are better than my 5 as we go through this. And we'll keep track. We'll keep a scoreboard, and we'll see over time. You know, maybe we'll have some other fun challenges to this. But at the end of the day,
all right.
Who drafted the better team of movies? Right. That's essentially the idea behind a fantasy draft pick.
All right. So
movies.
Explain Monsters, Inc. before we.
Yeah, Monsters, Inc. There's this moment that really gets me. It's obviously the door, right? The concept of just as you just go through this movie, he is this great scarer who wants probably more. Ends up meeting this little girl, falls in love with her in the sense of a parental figure, really cares for her, and then has to lose her completely. And then Mike Wazowski, his partner in all of this, takes the last shred, gives it to him so he can recreate the door and go. But there's like moments, where like he does his scare and the little girl sees it and she's just, scared of him then. And there's just so many moments in the movie. For me, look, and maybe I'm a little biased. Back when I was in college and I was doing theater, my now wife and I were dating. We were in a children's theater show together called Daydream Museum. Don't look it up. And she played this little girl, and she carried around the Sully character as her little stuffed animal, and she would go kitty, and just like the little girl did to Scully, and I will always remember that. But the way they portrayed, monsters in this world, and then coming up that laughter is the better energy source, and just such a great story. I really liked Monsters Inc. Now, Monsters University was a prequel, which is they have never done before, right? So kind of special in that you got to see before they were, but Monsters Inc., great story. So at the end of the day, let's go through our picks. I got Toy Story 3, WALL-E, the original Cars, the better Cars, Coco, and of course, Monsters Inc. So those are my 5 movies that I'm putting up against Ryan's 5, which will be...
And I have Up at number 1. I have Finding Nemo at number 2. I have Inside Out at number 3. I have The Incredibles at number 4. And I have Cars 3, which I think is the better Cars, at number 5. So the only sequel in connection to the original is Cars, of all things.
Yeah.
That we have on here.
Only one that had both the original and, because I have the Toy Story 3, which was a sequel, but
we are saying that has more than one of however many sequels they made.
So,
but I rank Cars 3 lower than him ranking Cars, which I think you put at number 3.
I did pick it earlier. I don't know if that matters or not, but
I think
at the end of the day, I'm putting my 5 up against Ryan's 5. You guys get to tell us in the comments below who picked the better 5 movies in the Pixar movies. Was it Ryan or was it I, with our 5 picks of Pixar? And guys, if you're new here and you haven't done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button, throw up those thumbs. We are working on some new things for this channel. We are going to continue to play games. We're going to continue to do the blind movie rankings, the guess the movie shorts. We're going to add this game in. We might even add another game like One Must Go, which we'll talk about. And then we'll probably be focused on a little bit more podcast style discussions going forward, where we sit down and have longer conversations about movies and various things. And then, of course, the occasional movie that we're watching will still be there. And just for clarity, the main reason we're kind of shifting a little is because copyright is just really a challenge. And with us being full-time careers, full-time family people, both of us having kids and wives and houses to maintain, we just can't get the content out fast enough to just do movies. So we got to come up with some other things that are a little faster for us. So that's what we're doing. We're making some changes, and I hope you guys like the direction. Let us know in the comments below. But either way, in the comments below, let us know who won. Did Ryan win? Did I win? I won, clearly. Probably not. It's actually, honestly, I think it could be a toss-up. I think it's just Pixar, we picked 10. I don't think there's any really bad picks in there. Left Behind was Inside Out 2, Brave, Ratatouille, Bugs Life, Monsters University. I can't think of any other.
Ratatouille for sure.
The Good Dinosaur, Finding Dory, Onward, Soul, Luca. Luca was pretty good. Luca could have been in this list. Luca is pretty good. Turning Red, I didn't really find that great. I didn't watch Lightyear, Elemental, and then Elio, the new one I haven't seen. And we'll know. So who knows what's coming up. Guys, thank you so much for coming along. Of course, cheers. Woo.